Welcome to the video. Just got done with the swim at the YMCA. That's why I got the swim goggle marks there. About to drive over to Lightspeed Lift for a run and give you guys the run warm-up video. This will probably change a little bit as I go through different runs and things like that, but this is kind of going to be the main run warm-up, I would say, that I'll be doing. Trying to keep it quick for you and do something that gets that heart rate up and makes the muscles feel good. First things first, you always get hungry after my swim. A little bit of nutrition on my way there. I maybe wouldn't recommend a beef stick. Usually protein digests longer and makes people feel kind of full before a run, but I am signed up for Ironman Arizona November 20th 2022, and so I'm experimenting with different things before running and biking especially, but after a swim I just find I get so hungry that it helps to have a little something in my stomach. Also sipping on a little bit of BPN electrolytes, and then I'll pour up some BPN G1M carb source to get me through this 70-minute run.
The first warm-up exercise we have here is heel and toe touch. Focus here is the quads, hip flexors, glutes, and hamstrings. So as you can see, it's also a little bit of balance, so that left leg is getting some glute on there too. I always start a little bit less range of motion where I'm not touching. Slower speed. Extending that knee and getting that toe, and then curling that heel back. And then I'll start to add some speed, a little more range of motion where I'm getting those kicks in. And then you can always have that little toe tap there. Even if you had to touch in between each one, this would be a good way to do it. Next, we're going to have a little rotation and knee drive come in. And again, balancing on that left, right knee is driving, reaching from left ear down to right knee, getting that hip flexor working really good in there. I do a lot of hip stuff in this video just because I have tight hips, so it's one specific kind of piece to this video. Is if you have tight hips, this is going to be perfect for you. Anybody else will also benefit. You got a lot of hip flexor when you're running. Last one will be calf raise. I do this kind of like a hop, just coming up on those toes, getting that calf warmed up. And then I always do like 15, 20 reps each side of those, all exercises. Next, you're going to be hip width apart and then going into a 90-90 stretch. I don't hold very long just to keep this dynamic. You can do holds at the end after you're done running just to get a little bit of range of motion and stretching in there on those hips. But this is just to open up and get ready. Next, we have a foam rolling on the quads. Start above the knee there. You're in a kind of a plank position. So I'll do 10 rolls, kind of sometimes pointing my toes in, sometimes out if you're watching my feet back there. Pushing and pulling from the shoulders, so pushing forward. I usually inhale in on that push and then exhale, pull myself in under those armpits, tight for those lats. Next, we have the same things, just a single leg variation. Now, if you feel very tight and I would say knotty on that first double leg foam rolling on the quads, then I would just stay with that. This is going to be a little bit more aggressive and deeper of a foam rolling. So I'll kind of start from the outside of my quad above the knee and then kind of roll my hips a little bit. About 10 per side is what I'm going for here, just to loosen up. I really like the compression before running. It helps. Seems like it gets my muscles just a looser feeling prior going into the run, especially if you're running consecutive days. You have some soreness that accumulates there. Next, we'll be going on to the hamstrings there. Same thing as the quads, just above the knee on the backside there. You're going to be in kind of a dip position. Fingertips can be pointing away or out to the side, kind of whatever's most comfortable for you there. Your limitation on this one might be your upper body. So just do a few, what you can, and then work up to the 10 each. Now, if you're feeling tight already with just the double leg, I'd stay there and keep rolling and maybe just leaning onto, as I'm kind of doing with my single leg, just leaning inside and outside. But otherwise, if you feel good, ready to progress on, go for that single leg, crossing over. And then you're kind of just rolling up to the top of the glute there. And whatever feels good, doesn't necessarily have to be rolling back and forth. It can be more on one side than the other if you're really tight. And I usually switch back and forth between this plank position and dip position there, just to take it off the wrists a little bit. So we're going to go inner thigh, kind of top of that hip, as you'll see me kind of work into there where I'm normally really tight. That important to note, that other foot I am holding on to in a plank position. And then I started from the inside above the knee and rolling to the inside of my thigh there, kind of up to the hip. I can get on the top of that if I lean into it a little bit. And I just kind of work back and forth, a little bit of quad, a little bit of inner thigh adductor. Now, it's important to note there, you can kind of see the foam roller is at like a 45-degree angle. It is not straight. And that way it allows you to go inside and out of that leg and hip. Usually do about 10 each side. Sometimes I stay a little bit longer here. I usually just try not to overdo the muscle and really like pound in on it. Sometimes you can do some holds, maybe like a little heel and toe flex there, bringing the leg up just to work the knot out. That's optional. Next, we're going back into that dip position, starting with the calves. So I'll point my toes out, toes in, a little bit of pointed forward here. And I move through fairly quick on this, especially in the warm-ups. I'm not trying to work out anything necessarily. I'm just trying to keep moving, get the blood flowing there, a little bit of compression on the legs. Just a little closer view there. And for me, that inside and the outside are the tight spots. I really work hard on that outside right up until that kind of like the top of the knee there, where you can feel there's the fibula and tibia attaches there. You can really palpate the fibula, the little side bone on the side of your calf. I normally get a knot right there, so I work up to that. Next, we'll be going to the glutes here. Starting double. It's kind of at the bottom of the glute and then working up to the back of that hip. And then for that single leg, you can cross that over. You can see I'm pointing right to that hip spot there. And the glutes are generally one of the tighter spots that I have as well. You probably feel that too. It's important to note I'm in that side plank position, kind of rolling up heel toe, pushing myself away with that toe, pulling myself in with that heel. I'm just kind of working up. I usually am pretty short range of motion there, just kind of like even like half of my glute to the top of my hip there. Do a lot of gluteus medius, which is what helps you do abduction, getting that leg out to the side. And for today's workout, I use the Light Speed Lift, which is a body weight support system that pulls body weight off while you're running on the treadmill. I'm on the non-motorized Air Assault Runner Pro, which I really like for finding paces. The workout for today was a 70-minute tempo run. I ended up getting 8 miles in. Starting off here at zone 1 and zone 2 for the first 10 minutes. My zone 1, it's hard to hold on the Air Assault, so I have almost like a minute difference between each pace, but it's like a 10 to 11. Then I sped up to a 9:30 to 10 for zone 2, so I try to maintain around like a 130 beats for the zone 2. As we get into the speed, I did 4 10-minute intervals at 7:45 to an 8:45-minute pace with like the goal of being around an 8. And then the 3-minute recovery there, which you'll start to see me hit that speed here. Surprisingly hard to hold those paces. I really like this treadmill for just feeling it out, and around an 8-minute and 50-second pace is kind of my marathon goal, I think, right now. Certainly much slower during an Ironman. Here's a little round view of how the system works there, pulling me up at the hip. And then I finished off with a little bit of that 10 to 11 minute mile pace to end off the workout. And hope you enjoyed the video. There will be more running tips and videos to come. And until the next one, see you then.